This is part 8 of our Let's Play series for Breath of the Wild, and this part will collect some more items for our inventory. We'll cook up, Red cooks up about 4 different dishes of spicy sauteed peppers. That's why it's the title of this video.
Yep.
And then we'll enter the cold region of the Great Plateau.
Now, Hick and I actually had a pretty good discussion before we started recording this part while we were just kind of doing our prep work that when it comes to the change of weather that you get in this game, you get the hot areas, you get the cold areas. I was a bit of a fan of getting into it, like getting to experience a cold region that required you to adapt to it very early on, just so you get the hang of the mechanics. But Hick will tell you that he was not such a fan.
Well, I mean, I've not played a lot of open world games. It's just one of those things, like, I just never got into it. Like, I really don't have a reason at all. I played GTA 5, but you really don't have to worry about cold regions in that, when you just got to worry about how much, like, money you're stealing and how many people you're killing and stuff like that. So that's kind of more based around that aspect. But for me, not playing a lot of open world games and kind of, like, interacting with the environment, like, I did find that, like, the new mechanic, for me at least, was kind of a struggle, and I kind of got to that cold region, and I was kind of like, okay, I know I can cook things, but I had no clue what to do, and then I eventually found some peppers. I kind of figured it out, but it was just thrown at me too fast, I thought.
Well, I had a little bit of an advantage because, like, when I was doing this first opening part, like, I was out of town a little bit, so I was playing on my mobile. And then when I started recording for our channel, of course, like, I would actually, I started over from the beginning, so I'd already played through the area, so I kind of already had an idea what I needed to do. So that gave me a huge advantage. But I'll be honest with you, there have not been a lot of open world games per se that have had the kind of weather impact that this game does, where it really affects your health. And for me, I thought that I have mixed feelings about that. I don't know about you.
Well, one of the reviews was kind of saying, like, I mean, there's a lot of open world games, but they kind of not hold your hand, but I think I was reading something on Skyrim, and you can probably help me out with this, where it's open world, but you still got to kind of progress in a similar way. I don't know if that's correct or not.
To the main story, you do to an extent. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, the side content, you do whatever you want, but the main quest is still pretty linear,
And they were saying, like, that people that reviewed this, like, this was truly open world. I can tell you, open world. Anyways, I can tell you that, like, I'm, like, pretty far through the game now, and you can really do anything in any order you want to. The story kind of comes at different points. Like, it can kind of be mixed together. And so, for me, like, they nailed the whole open world and, like, all the effects, weather effects, being able to cook, all the items. Like, they really nailed a lot of those parts.
And we see that really early on, where the old man tells us we need to get the 3 treasures from the 3 shrines so that we can get off so we can get the paraglider and get off the Great Plateau. But we're allowed to tackle them in any order we want. And I feel like they kind of took the concept from Link Between Worlds, where we could explore the dungeons in any order, and they took it, like, to its natural, end point, where almost this entire game you can do in any order you want. I mean, you could speed run to the final boss within a matter of hours if you wanted to. But also, like, I remember playing Hyrule Warriors, where the path kind of splits on the plot. And I know this game's non-canon and all that, or non-canon, whatever the term is, but like, that gave you options on the way you could play through the story as well. So I feel like this borrowed from elements from those games. And I'm sorry, I just talked for a really long time.
Oh, you're fine, man. I find myself doing it all the time. I think now that we do it remotely, like, sometimes we find ourselves talking longer than we used to, because we used to be able to look at each other and say, hey, check yourself, man. You're talking too long.
Give each other dirty looks. Like, come on,
we
man.
Can't really do that nowadays. But, I don't know if we talked about this or not, but I feel like kind of being the game quickly, like you said, you could. I kind of feel like they had to construct it that way. Like, they had to make the game long if you wanted it to be long.
Yeah.
You had to put plenty to explore and, like, to, satisfy people and all these quests and all these shrines.
Yep.
But at the same time,
completionists.
Yeah, exactly. But for people who don't have a lot of patience, want to do things quickly, especially in today's world where, like, we want to be rewarded, like, right away.
Yep.
You also have to have, like, at the same time, making it big and a long time to complete. You also have to make it short and easy to be at the same time if you want to take that route.
And I like that flexibility a lot. I mean, it does reward you for exploring the whole thing, whether it's, your inventory can hold more items, we get more heart pieces and stamina wheel. So, like, I'm a big fan of that. But plus, I mean, let's be honest, when this game launched, the Switch does not exactly have a ton of games on it. So I feel like they needed a game that would take people 100, 200 hours to play, just because, I mean, and being honest, I love the Switch, but the library it takes a little while. It's a brand new console. It takes a little while to get the games. So by giving players a game that can take them 100, 200 hours to play through with all kinds of secrets to find, I feel like it keeps people satisfied, even if you maybe only bought 1 or 2 games for your Switch to date. We're doing this pretty early on in the life of the Switch.
Yeah, Red, that's a very good point, because I remember when I bought the Wii U, I bought it at launch or a week after launch. Yep. And the only thing it really had on it was that 2D Mario game. I forgot what it's called, Mario Brothers Wii U or whatever. The side-scrolling one. And after I beat that, I literally did not touch my Wii U for 6 months.
Exactly.
And that's I see the Switch is kind of. The launch lineup is not strong. We've kind of complained about that.
The summer looks pretty good, though, after last night's Nintendo Direct event.
Yeah, I would agree with you. But, this game, like you said, it'll help you because you can beat this game, within, 2 or 3 weeks, but then you can go back and do a lot of stuff until, your next game comes out on the Switch that you want.
You really can. And let's be honest. I mean, since we started doing this channel, there have been a few instances where we've bought a system or a console specifically for Zelda games, whether it was the 3DS. We held off on buying until they dropped Link Between Worlds. And of course, once they announced...
and then we bought a $500 one that allows us to record the 3DS after we bought the other one. So
exactly. Hey, we split on that. We split that, so we're good.
Hey, I'm thankful for that.
And once they announced this as a launch title for the Switch, I mean, we both knew we need to get in on that too. So, and it keeps us busy. But we've hit on this a little bit, the cooking for the elements. And like I said, I kind of knew a little bit just from playing mobily that I needed to load up on these peppers. If you run into this cold area and you're not prepared, you are not going to last very long.
And you're really not going to be able to find any clothing. You'll see Red here. I don't know. Actually, it might be a couple parts from now.
It's a few parts away still.
But you can find some clothing that'll help you out, but we can't get that right at the entrance. So this is basically the only way that you can do this part right now is to fix something that gives hot that makes you cold resistant.
Yep.
Or if you try to go through there without that, you're going to eventually die. So.
Well, I do like that if you use a torch and light it and carry it with you, it will keep you warm as well.
I had no idea that happened.
And dude, whether it's torches or there are a couple of flame-based weapons in this game, or weapons you can light on fire. Obviously, it degrades the health of them.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call the health of a weapon, the endurance, I guess.
Yeah, durability.
Durability. There you go. Thank you for once. You're popping out.
I'm the vocab guy in the group. We all know that.
But so it's there are a couple of ways you can get through it, but man, this early in the game, it's tough if you're not prepped. But at least they do you a favor because there's those 3 or 4 pepper plants right outside the entrance. Yeah. So it's a little bit of that where they help you out right off the bat, as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah, man. I honestly never thought about using a torch or anything like that to keep me warm. I guess if I don't see that code resistance and the number or the countdown, I don't think it's working. Although not dying would also indicate it's working. But actually had a point kind of a little bit off subject that I wanted to make earlier. I kind of forgot about it.
Yep.
If you have not bought Breath of the Wild or the Switch, actually it's just Breath of the Wild. If you've not bought Breath of the Wild yet and you're watching this part just to, I don't know why you would be, just to kind of see what the game is about, buy the Zelda bundle. I screwed up terribly right there. And Red and I have talked about it. I bought the disc or the game case somewhere else, and so I didn't buy the bundle. The bundle has so much more in it for the price. So off subject, if you have a chance, buy the bundle, pay the extra money over getting the game.
Well, I was a big fan of the bundle. For one thing, I'm a sucker for video game soundtracks. I think there's some of the best things to listen to at work, just because there's usually not a lot of lyrics and words in video game soundtracks. And when you work with numbers or you're writing reports, then things with lyrics can really distract you. So for me, video game soundtracks are a huge appeal. And the Zelda games, we've talked about this countless times, the music in Zelda games is just always spot on. So the fact that the bundle came with the soundtrack, and also the thing that I didn't think I would use that much is the carrying case.
Yep, and that's what got me was the carrying cases. I had to spend $20-$30 on one of them anyways, which it would be the price of the bundle. And the only reason I didn't buy the bundle is because I already had the game, and I wish I would have, but I didn't. What was I going to say? I wanted to make another point.
We had a whole adventure about finding a Switch in the game anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got lucky, though. We both did find it. Red, I'm trying to... Oh, the theme videos. Kind of going back to that, like we make a lot of like videos for our fans. Like we hope they like enjoy them and everything.
Exactly.
We do make theme videos. I'm not going to lie to you all. I mostly make those for myself. So like Red said, so you can kind of listen to them at work and enjoy them because they're really good. Like without lyrics, they're really good at work.
It really is. And like we said, Zelda music has always been spot on. Hey, we've got a ranking of our favorite Zelda dungeon themes out there on our page that you should probably check out.
Hey, Red, anyways, this wraps up part 8 of Breath of the Wild.